Lift your weary head up to the sky. Open up your window, let the sun in, and sing out with your arms stretched open wide. Hello world!
Hello, world.
World. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Chloe. Oh, it's so good to be back.
Good to see you.
I spent that entire time, that entire countdown, trying to set up a Facebook watch party on my Facebook, and I couldn't do it because
difficulties left and right.
Just left and right. So if you're watching, thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Chloe, you are a superhero in many ways. I've said this to multiple people on multiple occasions. But today you are proving that more than anything. Would you tell the people at home where you're video chatting in from this morning?
Hello, everyone. It's 5:35 in Alaska, and we're live.
Chloe, you are. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
So Chloe is kind of our person about the country. Like,
about the country.
Most people will have like a person on the street segment or whatever, but
Yeah.
we send Chloe to different states.
Yeah, and then I don't talk to anyone in those states.
No, because you can't.
Because you can. It's not safe.
It's not safe at all. So what are you doing in Alaska?
What am I doing in Alaska? Okay, so my family, my brother lives up here.
Okay.
And so I came up for Christmas. I've taken all COVID precautions possible, and I've also already had COVID. So, and this is like, they're saying now that you have like 6 months of immunity after COVID. And so this is my last month. So I thought I would use it.
Use it to go to Alaska.
It's 10 hours of flight time. So it's a whole day of travel.
God.
And I brought my dog with me.
Buddy Joe.
Buddy Joe. He goes in the little travel bag under the seat. He's just like, if his legs were any longer, he would not be small enough. But because his legs are only this long, he fits right in, and he lays down and he's happy. It's great.
That's the most adorable.
He is still sleeping. He's passed out on the giant bed over there. He's got the whole thing to himself. He loves it.
And he just loves it. He just loves it. Wow. Buddy Joe has to be the most adorable like carry on the face of the planet.
The best part of traveling with a dog is like the delight when he pops up out of the carrying case when other people see him. They're like, "Oh, I didn't know that was a dog in there."
Yeah.
Because I have to take him out to take him through security. And then, we were sitting waiting at the gate, which was very strange, a very strange experience. Boston Logan was like it was the most empty I've ever seen it.
Which is good. It's
a
good thing.
I also flew out on that Thursday with the giant snowstorm. So it was supposed to take off at 7:30 in the morning. It got pushed back, or it got canceled. I got put on a 12:30 flight. And then they delayed it another hour and a half after I got through the gate. through security.
That's Yeah, because you can't do anything once you're there. When my wife and I were coming back from our honeymoon, we left from where were we? We were somewhere in Germany, I believe. We were in the airport there, and once we got on the flight, they were like, "Oh, we're having brake issues, so we're gonna fix that and then take off, but you're gonna stay on the plane." So we were on the plane for another we were sitting there for like an hour and a half while they fixed the brakes, which freaked me out.
Very necessary.
Yeah,
very necessary to have.
And then when we landed in Boston, we did the whole. Have you ever done the whole? You're landing. You touch ground and then you take off again.
A touch and go.
Have you ever been in a plane when that happens?
Yep.
Yeah, not cool. Not cool at all.
Very upsetting.
Very upsetting. And the pilot comes on. He's like, "Well, sorry about that. We were coming in a little fast, and we're not sure that the brakes are going to work." That's not what he said, but that's what you heard. That's what I heard. And this is after traveling like almost 24 hours to get home. It was a Sully on the Hudson, only at Boston Logan.
So my dad likes airplanes. He's got his pilot's license for small private planes. And so there are a lot of things that I could tell you that would make you feel a lot better, and there are a lot of things that I could tell you that will make you feel a lot worse about flying. So we're just not gonna.
We'll just call it even.
We'll just call it even. Move right on.
And move right on. Let's do our fact of the day since we're moving right on. Before our fact of the day, though, it is what national day is it, you might ask?
I'm asking.
It's National Chocolate Candy Day.
Oh my gosh. I'm not prepared.
Yeah, not just chocolate, but chocolate candy.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that was all thrown together by our amazing producer Mike, who's just I did like 3 or 4 shows without him, and then I was gone for a couple of weeks, and he was back, and we've been ships in the night, and now we're
together again,
here. And it feels so good.
So good. We're back, baby.
We're back, baby.
All right, I have to ask.
Yeah.
What is your favorite chocolate candy?
Favorite chocolate candy. Oh man, there's so many to choose from.
You can answer this question too.
Yeah, Mike, you're more than welcome to chime in here. I don't know. I like the chocolates with the peanut butter, or the peanut butter caramel, or like a coconut nougat or something. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the ones that are just straight nougat. I don't even know
what
nougat is.
I like those Milky Ways because they got the the fluff in there, the whip, like the Three Musketeers.
Yeah,
I like the Three Musketeers, but it's just not quite enough substance. So the Milky Way's got the caramel in it.
Yeah, Loaf is behind you. Loaf is behind you on the Milky Ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Loaf, for your
I'm
support.
also a big fan of the toffee, the Heath bar ones with the toffee in the middle. I was gifted a big container of Trader Joe's toffee candies. It's a bucket like this big, and it's just filled with these, and so good. I love chocolate and toffee. Reese's are a hit, both for people. I do love Carmelos, and just plain M&Ms. Just
candy coating,
classic. Yeah,
crunchy, delicious.
Fun fact about chocolate is, why it melts in your hand like that? The reason they put the candy coating on it so it doesn't melt in your melts in your mouth, not in your hands.
Right. Yeah.
Chocolate has a a special melting point. This is a thing that I read about while I was doing research for the show last night.
Oh, wow.
Chocolate is the only edible substance to melt around 93 degrees Fahrenheit, which is why it melts so nicely in your mouth.
Humans are like 98 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the band 98 degrees. Is that why? Is that where they got their name?
It's the exact temp of the human palm.
Yeah.
98 degrees. It must be.
Yeah.
It must be because they wouldn't just pick an arbitrary number that seemed hot.
Right. We've got some love going out to the Toblerone in the chat. Heller Good says Toblerone. Oh, I love me some Toblerone.
Oh, Heller Good likes the funky Kit Kats.
Like, what do you mean funky Kit Kats? Like,
they have a bunch of different like weird Kit Kat flavors. They've got like a matcha flavor Kit Kat. It's green.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm good. Like it's great for everyone else, but
green tea, yeah.
Not into it.
More for them,
More for them, absolutely. So that let's see, that'll lead into our trivia question for the day. And then we'll do the fact, because the fact is not related to chocolate. The fact is something different. So here's the trivia question. The cacao bean was valued by this ancient civilization so much that they actually used it as currency. What civilization had that chocolate money?
That chocolate money. I think I actually know the answer to this, but I'm going to keep it up here.
Keep it up here and in here.
And in here.
We'll talk about it.
I'll always keep chocolate in here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Now our special on this day, December 28th, 1895 is where we're going back to. The world's first commercial movie screening takes place at the Grand Cafe in Paris.
Wow!
Look at that place. So fancy.
That's pretty cool.
It was a film made by Louis and Auguste Lumière.
Louis and Auguste Lumière, the Lumière brothers.
The Lumière brothers that were candlesticks.
Oh my gosh.
And then they got turned into regular people.
Wait, Matt. Les frères Lumière. It rhymes in French. The Lumière brothers rhymes in French.
And good night, everybody. That's our show.
I was a French minor.
I took French in college and did not do well. Yeah, that's what that is. That's an actual picture. I can't tell if that's Louis or Auguste, but it's one of them.
Yeah.
So that's your fact today. If it wasn't for the Lumière brothers, we would not have movie theaters. You remember those?
Oh no.
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 Speaking of movies, have you watched the we've got to get our guest in. In fact, I'm going to wait to talk about this until we bring our guest in.
Yeah, let's bring our guest in.
Yeah, because she's waiting backstage very patiently. Also very early. Like, it's just early for everybody, but she's just calling from Jamaica playing, so at least she's at the same time zone that I'm in. So I know how, like, I feel her pain.
Nice.
It is. You should come back to Massachusetts.
All right, I'll come back tonight.
Yeah. Are you coming back tonight?
Yeah, my flight, it leaves at 12:55 a.m.
Well, I'm so
we'll
sorry.
Talk about this later.
Yeah, that's
all
right. Let's bring out our first guest. Please welcome to the show, very, very funny local comedian here in Boston, Sarah Michelson. Sarah, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh.
Good morning.
Sarah, cheers. We
Cheers.
both got our big ass coffee mugs this morning.
Yeah.
I have a Christmas glass.
Oh, look at that. Chloe's one of those people that just stays
Right?
hydrated during the show. She doesn't drink coffee. She just drinks water.
How I keep the skin glowing.
Obviously, I can't relate.
I keep my skin glowing through potato chips.
The grease just really illuminates.
The grease sparkles off the lights that I have set up in my little room here.
To luminous skin is grease and then lights.
Yeah. So Sarah, good morning. Thank you so much for doing the show.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. How's your pandemic going?
How's my pandemic going? That's a question.
That's how we start off all the
Big old
interviews,
questions.
is just getting right to it.
I think I just tell myself every day it could be significantly worse than it is.
It's very true. It's very true. So Sarah, you work for you have a very interesting job. In fact, we found out before the show that we're kind of job relatives a little
Job
bit.
sisters.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
We worked for sister companies.
Yeah.
I worked for a place called the Boston Tea Party Museum, which is at the Fort Point Channel in downtown Boston. And Sarah, you work for
Ghosts and Gravestones. Yep.
Ghost and Gravestones. Tell us about what is Ghost and Gravestones?
It's a historic. I'm gonna stop myself from going into the sales pitch. It's a historic ghost tour company. We have access to 3 graveyards. Over the course of any tour, we'll take you into 2 of the 3: King's Chapel Burying Ground, Copp's Hill Burying Ground, and the Granary Burying Ground. I love holding around my little key as like clout.
So you actually have these are locked cemeteries.
They're locked. Yeah, I got a key. I'm like never more like protective and weird than when people try and break in when I'm at work.
You're like, hey,
get out of my house. Get out of my house where I live.
Get off my lawn.
Kids. But also like it's a theatrical thing. So like everyone who works there has a character, an undead character that they give the tour as.
Cool.
So who is that's actually Rachel's. It's actually Rachel's cemetery. She, I don't know if you know this, but Rachel, one of the executive producers here on 2MB Studios, is actually a ghost from early Boston areas.
I'm gonna fight for the title.
Yeah, she's 100% a ghost. So tell us about your character, Sarah. Who's your character in the Ghosts and Graveyards universe?
My character's name is Violet Fox. Violet is a 19th century fraudulent medium. What she would do is that she would kill people and then use that shocking amount of information that she had from being at the murder to hold seances and say, I got information about the murder the ghost told me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
She does her research.
Yeah. It's about marketing. It's all about marketing yourself.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. I like I do like a Beetlejuicy kind of voice for it. And one time my aunt was taking the tour, and at one point you lock them in a graveyard and everyone runs away. And my aunt was like, someone was like, I wish you just use her real voice, goddammit. Like,
oh my God, is that you?
That's me, yeah.
Oh, that is terrifying.
Wait, do you do these tours during the day?
At night. At night.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm spooked.
So, yeah. Oh, Emily. Hi. Emily's good too.
Do you know this person that says it's truly terrifying? It sounds like they know from firsthand experience.
They're also a ghost, and we're roommates.
Oh, wonderful. I mean,
Welcome.
If you're going to be roommates, you might as well be roommates with other ghosts.
It's a haunted house, truly.
Yeah.
So
it only makes sense.
So that is a completely though made up character, right?
It's made up, but I did do a lot of historic research for it. I had some ideas that I had that were shot down because they were too graphic.
That sounds about right.
So I did a lot of research into Victorian spiritualism, which is where I took the character from. The last name Fox comes from these three women, Kate, Margaret, and Leah Fox, lived in Hydesville, New York, in the mid to late 19th century. They said that they could communicate with a dead peddler who was buried under their house, and basically were responsible for kicking off spiritualism in the United States. Spiritualism being kind of like the world's goth phase. Everyone was very into contacting the dead and holding seances and reading cards and that sort of thing. It was really popular for the Civil War because so many people died.
Yeah. I love calling it the United States goth phase.
Yeah, no, so no, it was like a really big deal. So
yeah.
So in England, they had this thing called the Society for Psychical Research, in like London, I think, which was like professional Ghostbusters, and like
wow.
A lot of writers at the time, like M.R. James, who was like a really popular academic in Cambridge and ghost story writer, like lived next door and like wrote about like the stuff that they did. I'm pretty sure the guy who wrote Sherlock Holmes, why am I blanking on his name?
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He was like ass deep in spiritualism. He thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And he was a fan of the Society for Psychical Research.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's over in Europe. In the United States, it was actually, what's really cool about, I could talk about spiritualism for a long time. What's really cool about spiritualism was that it was very much very popular with like reformers and reformist movements. The idea being that like the spirit world is progressive. The motto was there is no death. And you continue to progress past dying, and you continue to like learn more and accomplish more. So spiritualists would like talk to like the dead, and they'd be like, the dead people are like, we are more advanced, and which is why we need to do progressive things like suffrage and abolition. And it became a really great way for people who were largely like underrepresented or largely weren't listened to be able to like have platforms, because they would be like channeling the spirits.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, spiritualism is really cool, and it always like kind of like experiences like a big like popularity spike after major death events. So Civil War, World War II, or World War I, World War II, and probably whenever we all get vaccinated.
Yeah, Bella in the chat says, I'm finally learn improv in the Beyond. If you're also, Bella, if you're taking improv classes in the Beyond, it's probably because you're in the bad place. I'm just saying it's just a constant 101 to 601 curriculum that always adds a couple of levels, so you're never quite
never gonna graduate.
Never quite get to graduate.
And then you're always like, I need a suggestion, and everyone just says penis.
Yeah. or spatula. It's either penis or spatula. One of those two things. Yeah. Just over and over again. So Sarah, so when it comes right down to it, though, like, do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe that they're do you believe in this spiritualism kind of thing?
I don't know. I think it'd be more fun.
It would be more fun.
Right.
Like, I very much want to, but I haven't experienced. Some of my friends at work have experienced things. I have not.
I mean, because you're walking around probably some of the most haunted or just like historically rich kind of places in Boston, and really kind of in this area.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time completely alone in haunted graveyards for very long periods of time at night.
Haunt me.
Please.
And mostly I just call my parents in between like things. They're like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm in the graveyard. Nothing's happened. The scariest things that have happened to me at work have been like weird drunk people accosting me.
Humans are the real monsters.
No, the humans are the real monsters.
That's true. Now, do you stand like when you're all in your getup, when you're in your full show garb? Is that when you're hanging out in graveyards by yourself? Is that
yes? So I think people don't actually want to talk to me. But also like sometimes like
maybe the ghosts are scared of you too.
Yeah, I don't know. In the before times, like if you're like in the graveyard, sometimes you have a lot of time in between when you're like doing stuff. So it's downtown, so I'll just like go to Downtown Crossing and like buy myself dinner and bring it back to the graveyard. And
Eating a salad on a gravestone.
Hey,
no,
John
literally,
Hancock, how are you?
Ben Franklin's parents know me very well because I just sit by them and have dinner. But when I was walking, I was like walking back to the graveyard, and these like kids are behind me. They're like 15, and I turn around because they were like saying something, and they're like, "Holy shit, you scared the shit out of us!" And then they look me up and down real quickly, and then they're like, "So, do you know where we can buy weed?"
I mean, you look like somebody. Can we see that picture again, Mike? Can we see that picture of Sarah's character again? I mean, this is a person that obviously knows where to get weed.
I've actually been asked for to buy drugs multiple times while in costume. So I think some people just like assume that this is what I'm like normally, and therefore must do some really heavy drugs.
Right. Like if that was like your like Monday evening kind of attire. Like if you're like,
probably.
We've got one of your coworkers here. Also your roommate, right?
Also roommate, yeah. I love you, Emily.
Shout out to Emily. Thanks for watching.
Hello, Emily. Thank you for watching.
So you're currently like are tours still running in the pandemic? You were saying that
we ran tours in the pandemic. They were really like different. A huge bummer is that you have to wear the mask, so I can't like do my normal gory makeup or whatever. So I just had to put in my contacts and my eye black and be like, "What?"
I mean, that's still pretty scary.
Yeah, I suppose. It was my boss made fun of me because I spent like an hour and a half doing my makeup, as opposed to everyone else who takes like 10 minutes. And then my like thing was, I was like, listen, no one's gonna be scared of me. I'm like 5'1", like I'm tiny. No one's gonna be scared of me unless I just like go full throttle.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've made a lot of kids cry. So
now when you're not doing ghosty graveyardy kind of stuff, what kind of things do you do to kind of scratch that creative itch?
I do a lot of sketch comedy.
Okay. What do you have a group here in Boston?
Mr. Bismuth.
Oh, you're a Mr. Bismuth.
Mr. Bismuth, yeah. Here's a plug. Listen to our Christmas podcast that we just released on our
Facebook. Absolutely. What's it called?
Just Christmas characters. It's on our social media. I'm in Mr. Bismuth. I was working on a whole bunch of stuff before the pandemic happened, and then all the theaters got closed. So,
right. What's the social media tag for Mr. Bismuth?
I think it's Mr. Bismuth.
Oh, Mr. Bismuth.
Yeah.
Mister.
Yep, Mister. Bismuth, like the rock.
Like the rock.
It's a very pretty rock.
It's a very pretty rock.
Is that what bismuth is? I didn't know. I just thought it was a weird name that you all came up with.
It's a very pretty rock, yeah, ultimately.
Yeah.
And Mr. Bismuth, I do a lot of fiction writing. That's fun.
Oh, cool. Are you working on anything in particular right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on a whole bunch of short stories. I got back into it after like mostly just doing a lot of comedy writing, and then I realized that I missed fiction writing. So I've been like trying to like be really, really serious about that for like the past year. Turns out fiction writing is like super hard.
Well, you got to make everything up. It's not like you can, you got to
make everything up, but also like you need like 15 drafts of like everything. So like you have like a 10-page story and like literally 100 pages of drafting went into it.
You really have to love your own work.
Yeah.
Like you have to be your own biggest fan.
Yeah. I say I've been working on like the same like 4 or 5 stories for like the past year.
Yeah.
Wow.
My mom was like, "Why don't you have a book yet?" And I'm like, "It takes forever. That's why."
Yeah. Yeah. Don't hassle me, Mom.
Don't hassle me. But I did have something out recently in a short story horror anthology, which was pretty cool.
Oh, very cool.
wow.
What was the anthology?
It was called Krampus Carol. It was like holiday horror, which is hilarious because I'm Jewish. But
I love that.
but yeah, no, it was a gothic ghost story about like a nanny on Martha's Vineyard, and I thought that was pretty good. Do I ever get inspiration for my work? Well, in the yards of grave, I should, but I haven't.
You know, I find it when it comes to writing, like I've had a lot of, as a human, you have a lot of weird experiences and you meet a lot of really interesting characters. But I feel like whenever I sit down to write, I'm like, I don't know anybody interesting.
Yeah. No, yeah,
you just forget everything. Right?
Yeah. No, I mostly get inspired by like my own like lapses, and I should have taken like my mental health medications. Like,
yeah. I can think like I will think out a bunch of stuff, but the minute I sit down with a pen in my hand or a piece of paper or whatever, it's like, buh.
Yeah, no, I've like written a bunch of stuff down. But yeah.
Well, that's
this character. Yeah. Yeah, I found my life is wholly unrelatable to most people I know. So yeah, I briefly while I was working at Ghost, I was simultaneously doing marketing at a corporate startup. And we were having a social, and I was talking about like the random crap that I do in between like ghosts. And one time I went to a UFO conference because I had $25, and my friend was like, "Do you want to go?"
I mean, what else were you going to do with that $25?
Exactly, and one of the higher ups there was like, I don't think I could talk for like. I couldn't talk for hours and come with one thing half as weird as like just like what you're saying about like what you do. In like the nicest way.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today and being up early. I mean, not as early as Chloe, but still early for us. And hopefully when this is all said and done, and I'm back okay being in like a group of random strangers, I will come and take your Ghost and Graveyards tour, because that sounds delightful.
It is fun. Cool. We have a good time. I have a really good time. And you can follow my character's social media if you want. I'll plug that too. What the hell? At Violet Fox on Instagram. It's Violet Fox on Instagram. Violet Fox Ghost on Instagram and Violet Fox GG on Facebook. Okay. So check that out. Thank you so much, Sarah. Enjoy the rest of your morning. You too. Thanks for having me. Yeah. Take care. That's so great. Her regular Twitter is also excellent. It's been giving me life during this pandemic. Fantastic. So yeah, check out Sarah on all the social medias. So much love for Sarah /Violet. So I found out my mom was big into genealogy the last few years, and she found out after I had already moved to Boston, she found out that we have so many relatives on her side of the family that are in this area. Yeah, it's really cool, and some of them are buried in north the big, like one of the big cemeteries. One of the famous like old cemeteries. Yeah. And I had an uncle, a great uncle, well, probably a few more greats added on to that, that was in the Boston Tea Party. And I didn't find this out while I worked at the Tea Party Museum. I didn't find it out until after. And I'm a ghost. It's true. Matt's a ghost. Yeah. Yeah. This is all just a one of those. This is a roundabout way to you can do. Tell our viewers that Matt is a ghost.
It might be Cops Hill. I don't think it's Cops Hill. I think it might be the one by the what's the cemetery by the Common? Whatever the cemetery by the Common is, the one where John Hancock is buried.
Oh wow!
I think that
That's
they're
impressive.
somewhere. I think that they're somewhere in there, or but yes, Granary. I think. But
Thank goodness we have these graveyard experts.
yeah, we could probably do a whole. Oh, you know what we didn't do?
What?
Sarah, are you? I see Sarah still there. Yeah, she's back on camera. Let's bring her back on. We were gonna do the historical
Historical hotties.
historical hotties.
Oh,
A new
okay.
segment
Yes.
that we're working on the show is historical hotties. Sarah was talking about. Well, Sarah, I'll let you explain. How did this whole conversation come about?
Oh, I ruined I ruined the vibe of several group chats because I was reading this anthology of because like I guess like horror's my thing of late 19th century or just 19th and early 20th century horror fiction. And one of the writers, William Hope Hodgson, was like smoking, right? And I was like, "Hello, group chat. Do we think this man who died in 1918 is attractive?" And group chat was like, "Please go outside." But
Like I can't go outside.
Let's
I can't go
ask.
outside. There's a pandemic, so I'm just gonna sit here and thirst over William Hope Hodgson, who is cute.
Let's ask the Hello World group chat.
Yeah, is William Hope Hodgson hot?
And I think Mike, were you able to find a picture of him? Okay, there he is.
No, get the side profile picture. The side profile picture is much hotter.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
I'm very serious about this. The
So
side
there's-
profile picture is hotter.
Because you have to see that jawline.
That jawline, right? Like
A
as someone
jawline's
without a
great.
jawline, like I'm like, he's great. And who else were we talking about?
Warshak. Okay,
Yeah.
look at that.
Oh.
Look at that
Ooh.
profile.
Yeah,
Good God.
yeah, he's hot, right?
Very-
Right? Like
very
I'm
strong
I'm
chin.
not just like lonely and horny, right? Like
Oh no! And here's the thing:
Look at that
is
chin.
that
Is that all chin or is that part of his shoulder?
that's part. There's a shirt piece there. I think.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
that's
not sure.
his collar sticking out right behind it.
okay, Rachel says he's hot.
Yeah.
Body bow body, high praise.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Adee is having some issues this morning. So then Chloe mentioned
Yes.
Warshak,
Oh my gosh! Have you guys seen Rorschach?
not from Watchmen. This is the
Yeah.
actual Warshak test. Look at this guy.
This guy's cute.
Chloe, you can see Chloe is like her face is visibly starting to get flushed right now.
A man who's interested in psychology and looks like that?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I think we might need if everybody could just be cool for like
You guys be cool. Rorschach is here.
yeah, he does look like Brad Pitt.
Yes, yeah, he does. Oh my
Big
god.
Brad Pitt vibes. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just like I'm very interested in like long dead people because they've already done all they can to disappoint you.
Oh my god, that's true. He probably had some pretty privilege. Let's not pretend that he didn't.
Yeah, like John Hamm in 30 Rock, like the John Hamm character in 30 Rock, who's really bad at everything, but everybody thinks he's amazing at it because he's John Hamm.
It's upsetting to me how real that episode is.
Oh, Dr. Zach Jones, thanks for joining us today. Zach. Okay, we
Interpret my kink plots. Yes, please.
So, chat, are there any other? We were trying to think of other historical hotties. So I don't know if the chat has any sort of like things that they would like to chime in on that.
Yeah, feel free to post your historical hotties in the chat.
I feel like Lord Byron was like objectively hot, but also like a train wreck and like a bad dad.
He was a bad boy.
Are we talking about like them as people or them as like physical like entities?
Oh, I think we probably have to just talk about them as physical entities because
they're all They're probably all.
That's true. Yeah, they were probably all garbage.
We've evolved a lot as a society, and so all of our favorite historical hotties are problematic.
The statue of Sam Adams in Quincy Market uses Paul Revere's body with Sam Adams' face.
That is true. Yes, Emily is correct.
Yeah.
They decided that Sam Adams just wasn't hot enough in the bod, so young Joseph Stalin was hot.
Yeah, could we get Mike, could you Google for us young Joseph Stalin? That's the only time I'll ever ask you to do this, is while we're on while we're streaming. Yeah, I mean James Dean, but James Dean was, I mean, his whole thing was he was hot, right? Like that was his thing.
And trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's deeply unsettling to me.
It makes a lot of sense now. A lot of things make a lot of sense now.
Yeah. I think if you're a bad person, you should
George
McClellan. George McClellan.
I love this segment so much.
Yeah, this might, Sarah, we might have to have you come back as a correspondent. This might have been your audition to be a correspondent for Hello World, and now you're our official historical hottie. We'll have to do this as a bit.
I'd love to do it as a bit. Oh, all right.
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Such those peaked eyebrows.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Yeah.
And the chat is going nuts. The chat loves this segment.
Yeah. So like, you know how like at the beginning you were like, how's your pandemic going? This is how my pandemic's going. My pandemic is going, me being like,
The replay of this segment is going to be off the chain. People are going to light some candles. They're going to put on some music. They're going to put us on mute. We're going to be on mute 100%. And the low lighting, looking at historical hotties.
Historical hotties. Yeah. I'm not doing great.
Sarah, I think you're doing fantastic. We're all in this together, and we're all doing the best we can.
We're all doing the best we can.
All right, Sarah. Thank you again for sticking around and coming back on such short notice.
I'm glad I'm here to show over.
And this honestly could probably be the rest of the show, but we do have a few other things to talk about.
Fantastic.
So thank you so much. There's Ms. Warshak again for everybody. And we'll see you on your next segment, which might be in a couple weeks.
Great.
We'll talk.
Bye.
Oh, I'm so glad we doubled back for that.
Oh yeah, that was absolutely worth it.
All right, let's change gears a little bit.
Let's
switch it up a little bit. Let's do some YouTubing. It's been a while since we've done the YouTubing. So
yes.
This is a segment that Chloe and I love, where we get to show each other YouTube videos that we think the other person might not have seen.
Yes.
Or if they have seen it, it doesn't matter at this point. It's just something that you like on YouTube. Mine you might have already seen, but I love this. But let's do, Chloe, let's do yours first.
Okay. I'm sure you haven't seen this because it's hot off the press. They posted it like an hour ago. Okay, so this is from the Holderness family, which is a family in Wisconsin, or represent. And they do a lot of like parodies and stuff, and parody songs and stuff like that. This one is about goals.
Is this Alaskan YouTube or is this regular YouTube?
It's Alaskan YouTube, so you might have to like translate it.
Okay.
But it'll be
Okay, great.
2020 goals. 2021. Get some stamps in this passport. Get stamps. Look, go to the post office and get stamps. This year, I'm going to make so much money, never going to run out. This year, I'm going to get so much toilet paper, never going to run out. Finally going to do that marathon. Netflix marathon. The Crown, Queen's Gambit, all those shows I've been putting on. This year, I'm going to up my fashion game. No more yoga pants every day.
I have one of those. I just got one of them.
Priority, only clean eating for me. Okay, try to eat one green thing a day, a week, a month. Here, I'm going to create some boundaries. I'm not going to let people invade my space. I can't wait to hug people, like friends, strangers, anybody. Just hug. Spend more time connecting with family. You know, I feel like we're just ships passing in the night. Spend more time alone. See you guys for just a little bit. That'd be nice. I'm going to slow down, you know, not overschedule. Really take it all in. I'm accepting every invite to everything. Your cousins, brothers, uncles, weird barbecue, in. You know what? I'm going to cut down on the drinking. I'm
that wine.
Drinking to every other night. I'm going to start each day writing in my gratitude journal. Maybe I shouldn't start each day by doom scrolling. No doom scroll. I'm really focused on a small circle of friends. I'll talk to anybody at this point. I'm with all new friends. I mean, or just one. Or it's one is fine too. I'm gonna save on gas. I'm gonna start walking and biking more. I'm gonna get comfortable behind the wheel again. Just gonna figure out. Nope, don't have anywhere to go. But I could drive around the block. I could go to the store. I could come back. I've done that. I could do that. Get takeout. I mean, get crazy. I mean, I could go to the Target on the other side of town. Yeah, gonna do it. You know, in 2020, one of my goals was to spend more quality time with my family. Check. Did it. We're good here. Love you, but maybe we should see other people. Yes. Oh, but I have loved all of my snuggle time with you.
I do that.
I do love you. Hey, do you have any 2021 goals?
For COVID to be ending.
For COVID to be ending, yes, we're gonna do that. Check. But what do you want to do once we're like can go see people?
I forgot what seeing people was like. So
Amen, kid.
I don't know.
You don't know. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
I never do.
Never do, and you kind of rule life. So
Yeah.
hey, maybe I'll stick to that plan. Okay, happy 2021. Yay! I'm gonna start each day writing in my gratitude journal.
Yeah. The fact that she wasn't actually writing, I'm going to go with Zach Jones on this. The fact that she was just making marks in the paper really kind of took me out of that. That's the act. Might be the actor in me. I'm like, you know what? Just write the note. Like if you're going to write the note, write it. You know,
write it. Yeah.
Just write it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that was. Yeah. Let's move to Wisconsin and live in big houses. That was a huge house. Like you could just tell, so much space.
Yeah. So this house is fairly large, and not once have I been cold in this house. I had to go like Boston, smaller spaces. You know, you'd think it would be easier to heat, but I had to go all the way to Alaska to get warm. Like,
yeah, I get that. Yeah. So the video I chose is an older video. This is, I believe, from like 2014. Mm-hmm. But it makes me happy every time I watch it. Are you familiar with? This is called "Diary of a Sad Dog." Is what this is. So here we go.
Dear Diary. It has occurred to me today that my dearest human has never sniffed my backside. I must bond with him in different ways. Like my father always used to say, if you want someone to look you in the eye, make sure that your mouth smells exactly like your butt. It's difficult to argue with that logic. And so I have eaten some rotting earthworms in preparation for my dear human's return, as well as some of his socks. Dear diary, it's not so much that I miss my testicles. I know it's a rite of passage in our pack, and I'm sure that my dearest human has had his removed as well. When that one bulldog comes to the dog park and parades his testicles around, I can't help but notice how Ginger looks at them. I love Ginger. To be fair, I will admit, he has a fine-smelling butthole. Dear diary, the cat is a curious, magical creature. It's as if a teddy bear mated with a cactus, and it's much less fun to play with than it would appear. And yet it poops delicious candy into a box of pea-flavored sprinkles. Dearest human guards these treats jealously, often harvesting them into a barrel. But I will admit that I sneak one from time to time. They are delicious. Dear diary, this is the 733rd day that I have tried to test what Cat swore to me was true. Namely, that if you hump anything long enough, you will find a vagina. So far, the results have been mixed. My dearest human's leg vagina has not revealed itself. However, I'm almost certain that I felt something on the brown teddy bear. Dear diary, I have yet to see my dearest human poop anywhere. I suspect he may not know how. I have resolved to try and teach him when we patrol the neighborhood each day in search of men with hats and beards. It is embarrassing to do in public, but he must learn somehow. I fear he will die of constipation if I don't succeed. Fortunately, my dearest human seems to show some interest and is now collecting my feces in a small bag. Soon. Dear diary, I must be more careful when licking my genitals. My dearest human seems sensitive about it, most likely because he's incapable of licking his own. Always, I am in awe of his ability to be so noble, despite what I can only imagine are filthy, filthy genitals. He hides them every day. Dear diary, today I have added a fourth circle to my pre-pooping ritual. As before, the first circle is to verify that I do in fact need to poop. The second is to check for gremlins and men with beards and hats. The third is to re-verify my need for pooping. And now the fourth is to honor my newly deceased toy. Stuffed llama, rest in peace. I didn't mean to shake your head off. Dear diary, I told the cat about how my dearest human has promoted me, teaching me to shake so I can participate in his business dealings. However, Cat pointed out that I'm often unaware of what I'm shaking on. For example, when I shook the neighbor's hand this morning, I have no clue what I agreed to. None. Cat says this is how the devil buys souls. Young bed comfort. Dear diary, my dearest human asked me where the ball was when it was clearly in plain sight. I brought it over, and he threw it even farther away, then asked me where it was, and was very happy when I brought it again. Perhaps a metaphor? Dearest human leaves each day, and I am happy when he returns. Wait, maybe he is the ball, and I am dearest human. This is too much. I must be on the bed.
So that is that guy has so like his YouTube channel is so good. He does a cat version as well where they refer to humans as like my captors or something, like the oppressors or something of that nature.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Cat is like the worst lawyer who just yeah. So that's Diary of a Sad Dog.
Oh, that dog is so sad.
They're all so sad.
And it's just like that guy has the perfect voice.
Oh, and he also does like he does now a thing called True Facts about like different animals. Like he'll pick an animal and he'll do a whole big thing. And some of like, I believe that like most of the facts that he says are like actual facts about the animals, but just the way he talks and goes through it is absolutely hysterical. So check out his stuff on the YouTubes. All right. Well, we're just barreling through the show. It's so good to be back. It's so good to be like chatting with you, Chloe, and just kind of having everybody here. We got a ton of people in the chat right now. It's so good to see everybody and to see people chatting which is what you do in the chat. I'm almost like I'm about 3/4 of the way through with this. I got my new coffee mug. I got this in a Secret Santa.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's picking up the green screen right now, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
But yeah, this is what reminds me to just abide.
Just abide. The dude abides.
The dude abides. So let's bring out our next guest. Very excited for this next guest. I was listening to some of her music before the show. Very, very cool. She is a composer. Let's bring out Daijana Wallace. Hello. Did I pronounce is it Diana? Did I pronounce it right? Or
it's Daijana.
Daijana.
Yeah. Like spending a day on a beach.
Got it. Daijana, hello, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Where are you calling us from? Calling from?
Thanks for having me here. I'm calling from the great state of Kansas. I'm in Wichita, Kansas right now for the break. So,
shout out to the Midwest. Chloe and I are both native Midwesterners. So
excellent.
I lived in Kansas.
Oh, where at?
Ages 2 to 7 in Wichita.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I actually only came here for university. I'm not from here, but it's just easier. People know where it is. I'm like, yeah, I'm from Wichita. It's fine.
Right. Such a complicated question. Where are you from? I never know how to answer it.
People are like, oh, you're from Kansas City. And that's what they think the entirety of Kansas is. So I'm just like, yeah. I get it.
That's not even the entirety of Kansas City.
I know.
Yeah, because isn't half of Kansas City in Missouri?
Yeah, I think the cool parts of Kansas City are in Missouri. Don't tell anybody I said that, though. I think they might get mad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there goes our Kansas viewers. Thanks, Daijana.
My apologies.
We have a very strong watch following.
Kansas viewership.
Viewership. That's the word I was looking for.
We do also have a tradition of alienating one group per show, one regional group per show. So we can check that off the list.
It's fair enough.
So Daijana, you are a composer. Yes, you write music. We have some. You sent me 3 amazing clips. We're gonna watch a couple of them here in just a second. But talk to me about how you got into that. Like, how is that something that you came to be like, hey, I'm good at that and I like doing it.
It's actually a pretty sad story, which I don't talk about very often, but it's okay. No big deal.
If it's too sad, you don't have to talk about it. But
so basically, when I was in high school, I was rolling, and my dad had died suddenly when I was a senior, and so it just sort of like was like a coping mechanism almost, or a way to handle that sort of situation. So I started composing, and after a couple of years of messing around, playing volleyball and stuff, I decided to go study music at Wichita State University. And that is when I got under the mentorship of Alex Sternfeld Dunn, and he taught me the way. So here I am now, grad school at Michigan State University, very happy to be in a better place with composing, and just making new friends. And yeah, so it's been pretty great so far.
At Michigan State, that's the Spartans, right? Not the Wolverines.
Yeah, not the other guys. No, we're the Spartans.
Yeah. I had one of my advisor in college. I was a theater major at Eastern Illinois University, and my advisor and her husband were both from Michigan State, or they both did their grad and undergrad at Michigan State. So they had a kick a Wolverine bumper sticker like on their office. Yeah.
I haven't indulged in any of the traditions so far, but not like I've had the time or the opportunity either. So.
Right. This year has to have been crazy for this kind of schooling. What is like has it been like? How's it been different for you as far as like? I'm sure you're doing a lot of work from home. But is that kind of affecting like how you interact with people?
Definitely. I'm definitely an analog person, so I can't there's been a ton of like Zoom hangouts and Zoom like meetings that are just supposed to be super casual to keep up this idea of community and environment. And I just can't get I just can't get with that. I spend a lot of hours on Zoom a day, so I'm just like, I'm zoomed out. I can't do this.
Yeah.
So for me, it's been like a little like isolating. Even though there are the opportunities to socialize, like I really need that face-to-face time. So it's been pretty difficult in that regard. But other than that, I do enjoy staying home and getting to be in my pajamas all day.
I mean, you don't really have to ever put on real pants.
Exactly. I still do, I think, anyway. But
yeah,
it's not.
Good for
Nobody
you.
will ever know.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, like before the show, like I know I don't have to put on deodorant because I'm the only one here, right? Because there's like my wife is at work, I'm here alone at the house. I don't have to put on deodorant, but I know I'm going to be talking to people, so I put on deodorant. Like it's just a thing. It makes me feel better. Sometimes you just have to put on real pants.
Yeah. Well, and also just as a way to like break up the day.
Yeah.
Oh, it's pants time.
Yeah.
All right.
And eventually you do have to wash the comfy pants. So you have to put on real pants while you wash the comfy pants.
I definitely realized that I don't have enough comfy clothes. Yeah, I was just like, wow, I need more leggings, more sweats, more t-shirts, more everything.
Matching pajamas.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm like, I need more like socks, like thick socks that I can wear around the house.
Yeah.
So
Cabin socks, the grippy socks.
I just need some of those in general. Because I am afraid when I walk into my kitchen that I'm gonna like do one of those legs in the air. Yeah, down on it. So Daijana, what is when you compose, like, do you have like a favorite instrument that you like hear in your head when you're composing, or is there like a specific like instrument that you like to compose for, or?
Not necessarily. I know in general, I do a lot of my writing on the piano, and then I'm a cellist, so if it feels right, then I'll do some composing at the cello on the cello. But typically there's not like a rhyme or reason for the instruments I write for. It's just mostly friends and opportunities. So like if it's a commission, like, yeah, I have to write for that. So that's what's in my head at the time. But if it's for a friend, I'll just be like, yeah, whatever instrument they're playing, that's just what I'm writing for. I'm a string player, so I'm partial to strings when I'm writing, when I'm just thinking of ideas. But I mean, I've gotten to write for almost all of the instruments so far, I think, except for a couple, but
that's fine. I used to play trombone way back in the day. I used to play trombone. Have you ever written any trombone concertos? I'm just throwing words out now.
I haven't written a concerto. I've written a duet for trombone and tuba. And for my thesis for my master's degree, I'm doing a concerto for, I wouldn't call it a concerto, but whatever. Concerto for cello and chamber orchestra. So
Loaf has a legit question, not a question that just kind of formed in my head and I said immediately. She asked, do you use the piano to compose music that is intended for different instruments? How does that all work?
Yes, I do. And I think it's just like the ease of the piano. It's everything's there that you need. And I don't even use different sounds for like an electric keyboard. I just use the piano. And it's really helpful for figuring out like harmonies and melodies or just a simple line, getting to noodle around. It's just like my starting place for most compositions is like at the piano, at the cello, just noodling around until I find something I like and then get to go from there.
That's fantastic. That's such a cool process. Let's listen to one of the things that you wrote. This one is really cool. It's called Upstairs Neighbor. And I was listening to this before the show, and like I had it on, and I was doing something else, and then there's a particular part right at the that continues throughout. You will listen to it, and it kind of startled me. So let's take a listen to Upstairs Neighbor. Wow. So cool. So cool. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's like what brought you to write this piece? Like what was the kind of what was going through your head at the time?
Yeah, okay. So there are these things called music festivals, which is basically summer camp for musicians. I'm just gonna throw that out there. And
That's
I
awesome.
was writing one for the Cortona Sessions for New Music. It happens in Italy. And I was just thinking about like what other people were gonna bring to the table and what I should bring to the table. And I was gonna do something like I was gonna write something for my boyfriend or something, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna just try to have fun, like so I wrote this piece because I had upstairs neighbors who would just like pace all across the apartment when I'm trying to sleep at like midnight. It was like the worst like 3 months of my life when they moved in. I was just like
Yeah, we have a lot of upstairs neighbors in the chat, it looks like, that feel very attacked by your piece.
Yeah. I mean, but like I feel like everybody's had that experience, and just to like that's what it's like. You're just trying to sleep, and you kind of are, and then you get interrupted, and so you're angry. But eventually, it has a happy ending, thankfully. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, did you know the people that were performing that? Did you get to work with them, or did you just send them the music and they took it?
Yeah. So the percussionist I know, he's a really good friend of mine. His name is Michael Ginta, and I met him while I was at Wichita State. And he went to a different kind of music festival, Brevard, in Brevard, North Carolina. And I don't know the cellist, but I know the percussionist. He was like, "Hey, we want to play this piece," and I was like, "Yeah, sure." And they knocked it out of the park. It was so great.
Yeah. And did you write the stomping, or did he add that? Did he add that in?
It's in there. I'll have to post a picture of it on Twitter later. It's just this really, really crude graphic that's just like, it's like the POW kind of like comic book style POW thing. And I think I wrote something else in it, but I was just like, okay, just do this here. And I gave some loose instructions, but it's basically like anything goes. So we'll see if it gets future performances. We'll see how other percussionists or tap dancers, as I saw in the chat, work around that one. So yeah.
Yeah, casual tap dancers,
Yeah,
not an actual tap dancer, just a casual tap dancer. So this was, when did you write this? When was this done?
2018.
Oh, okay. So
Wait.
so fairly recently.
2019. 2019.
Wow.
Dates are confusing right now.
I know something.
100%.
Yeah, so 2019, and it premiered that summer. So
Oh wow. So it's
Okay.
yeah. So it's been a fairly recent thing.
yeah.
Well, that was just like just really cool, and I love that. I love the visual of that, right? Because it is that pacing. My mother-in-law lives upstairs, and she tends to pace around a lot at night too. So it's like I'll be like going to bed, and I'll just hear footsteps like all over and I'm like, okay, she's just pacing, just
doing
walking
her
around.
thing. Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
We had neighbors doing construction upstairs for a while, and we couldn't figure out. They were like, they must have been building something. But they would start at like 8 p.m. And then it was just like a constant hammering, and we couldn't figure out what would someone need to hammer for that long. Like I was worried they didn't know how to hammer.
Yeah. Or maybe they were just hammering.
Just for fun.
Like, maybe that's just a thing that they did to like help like meditate or something.
Yeah. Good question, Rachel.
Rachel just does the best. She books the best guests and then asks the best questions. She's really vying for my job. As host of the show. Which, I mean, I guess if she wants to host the show,
if you want it.
Yeah. What is something that you feel people don't understand about writing music?
I don't know. I feel like it'd be the same thing about somebody not knowing the process of like a visual artist or any other sort of artist in any medium. It takes a lot of time to get everything the way that you want it to be. And it's not just like, oh yeah, you write a song. It's like you have to have the scores looking in tip-top shape. You have to communicate with the musicians if anything's not clear, and like what is standard, what isn't standard, and how to communicate what you want with like the least amount of details that also provide the most amount of detail. It's like this really fine balance between having enough information inside the score and not overloading the performer. And then like the editing process like never stops,
Yeah.
For me, I've been grateful where I've been just like, oh yeah, I've been pretty happy with everything, and I allow a lot of flexibility. So I'm okay if it doesn't sound like the recording or something, or the Premiere recording that I have or something like that. But I'm just, so you never stop working, you never stop editing. But also one of the beautiful things is like every musician is different. And it's so interesting for me to just kind of see like how different musicians interpret like my pieces differently,
Yeah, because you're like, you're not writing for yourself, like you're writing and then with the intention of someone else playing your music. I love what you said about like being precise but not overly precise. Like do you like to give them a little bit of freedom to play around a little bit, or you're like,
yeah, I think so. And I think that it also happens naturally, like if you take like the, I don't know if like the Bach cello suites, just as like the most basic thing. If you
don't, but that's, yeah.
It's like, if you YouTube like the cello song, like one of the Bach suites will come up. You'll know what it is when you hear it.
Right.
But like, if you listen to recordings of those from like 5 different cellists, they're all going to sound they're going to sound very different. And I feel like with contemporary music, performers try to get exactly what the composer wants. And for me, it's not necessary. It's just like you follow your instincts. You are the performer. You are the expert. You do what you feel is right. And that's my philosophy in my music. I know that some composers aren't like that, but that's just how I am. And I really enjoy that.
Yeah. Like translating that to like sketch and scripted stuff and acting. Like I feel the same way. Like my favorite writers are the ones who like give you that freedom and who or as if they specifically write a piece for you, they're like, do your thing in this part.
Right.
And that's the fun part of being an artist, is that interpretation.
Yeah. And I love that this kind of connects to what Sarah was talking about earlier, where she writes a story, but she has hundreds of pages, like 100 pages of draft. And then that goes into a 10-page, story or something like that. Like, it's like, yeah, you have to have a very wide scope so you can get it down to exactly what you want. And I love that, you see that process. So Daijana, so this is your social media handle, right here, at _Daijana. And, this is Twitter.
It is my Twitter.
Okay. So follow that Twitter. Do you have anything coming up? Do you have any, it's a weird time to try and plug things, but, like, do you have any virtual things coming up?
I do. Let me just pull it up really quick because I never know what I'm supposed to be looking at or doing. I don't know. Surprisingly, I've had a lot of opportunities over the pandemic. I feel like it's been like the reverse effect. Like, oh, you're kind of like, oh, what am I supposed to be doing? And you're like, I'm busy. I've got work to do. I've got school to do. I've got everything to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I was bored until we started this channel. And then suddenly I was like, oh, I have more work to do now than I had when I was working full time.
You'll never be bored again.
Unfortunately.
So I dropped it in the chat here, but it is the Great Northern Festival. A Twitter friend of mine, actually, Sam Bergman, commissioned me for his duo, Sam and Carrie. They are a viola and voice duo, and they'll be performing and premiering 2 of my works at the Great Northern Festival.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a virtual event. The tickets are available at the link that I dropped, and they're specific because it's like an all-encompassing festival. So there's like a wide range of activities for people to do. And if you look for the Outpost series, that'll be the series that Sam and Carrie will be performing on. It's a mix of new music, spoken word, and I think comedy is their show. So it's
We're into comedy.
It's a wide array of artist-like acts. So,
Oh, that's fantastic. The Great Northern Festival. So definitely check that out. Daijana, thank you so much for coming on the show and chatting with us and sharing with us your beautiful music. Check out, you can check out Daijana Wallace. You're also on YouTube, right? You have some of your stuff up on YouTube, so you can check out more of her work there. Have a wonderful rest of your morning.
yeah, thanks for having me today.
Yeah, thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Oh man, what a great show today. This is the last show of 2020. This is our last 2020 show. And we're officially going to be next week, in the new year.
The new year.
Yeah, very excited for the new year. Unfortunately, I think it's gonna be a lot of the same.
For the first half, yeah.
At least the first half. But here's hoping for that back half of 2021 and some 2022. Already looking. Yeah, we've always got the hot garbage that is.
You're just hoping I find a man who looks like Rorschach.
Just looks, though, not actually.
No, don't act like him.
Rorschach,
He died early of alcoholism. I'm not interested in that.
Not interested. That's way too much baggage for that. Just some housekeeping things for the rest of the show. Let's see. The rest of the day, just so much good programming here on 2MB Studios. We've got That Sounds Right, which is quickly becoming one of the hottest game shows around. This is such a wonderful show to watch. That's at 7:00 tonight. Then Poof, the magical game show after that, followed by Run On, our third game show. We've got a 3-game show block tonight. No genuine nonsense tonight. Kelly's taking the holidays off, and then she's going to be in Aruba.
Oh,
yeah, doing comedy in Aruba. Yeah,
wow.
Very safely. Like she's taking precautions.
Seems it's such a foreign
thing. But if she's gonna get down there. She's gonna have a great time. I'm very excited for her.
It's gonna be warm.
Yeah. But check out, subscribe to the channel to get notifications whenever we do go live with all our amazing programming. We have programming 7 nights a week. So much stuff is going on. We've got new shows coming out in 2021. That's just, I can't wait. Let's see what else. 3 weeks.courses. You're going to have some new classes coming up starting in January.
Yes.
So if you go to 3weeks.courses and check out all the new classes, what do you have coming up, Chloe? What kind of classes you got?
I'm doing Less Pain, More Gain again. It's 3 weeks long. And it's about working on form and, trying to feel the right kind of pain in your body when you're exercising. There's this whole concept of no pain, no gain.
Mm-hmm.
You don't actually have to hurt yourself to make fitness gains. And so we kind of go over those concepts, and we go over form for common exercises that you'll see in workout videos and how to tweak the form so you're feeling it in the correct place.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you are feeling pain, what else you can do. So your workout is not completely unbearable.
Well, that's
my goal.
Yeah, and we appreciate that. It's a good thing to have. And there's also classes on. Let's see, they've got so many different class offerings. They're doing a feminist writing class. They're doing go to the website and look and see what they've got.
Baby.
So many courses. I love that they have this, you can do a learn, create, or achieve, right? So you can learn something. They've got a playwright and script analysis class. They've got podcasting. They've got, if you're an artist, they've got how money management for freelancers and that kind of thing. Let's see, that's learn something, create something. You can do the playful poetry of Danny Bellel, which I hear is just a wonderful class.
Everyone loves that one.
They've got it's a feminist satire class is what it is. Creating pieces that punch up and make a point. That sounds really, really cool. They have an exploring choreography class. Just so much. So check that out. 3weeks.courses. Let's see what else.
We got to answer that trivia question.
Oh, you said you might know that trivia question answer. So let's go back to our trivia question. It is the cacao bean was valued by this ancient civilization so much that they actually used it as currency. What do you think, Chloe? Who do you think this was?
I'm thinking it's Central America.
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong.
Mayans, perhaps.
You had a fifth. I feel like there were
Aztecs.
Two. Yeah, there were two. Either the Mayans or the Aztecs. It was in fact the
Yes.
Aztecs. So the Aztecs used cacao beans as currency.
Wow,
They
I didn't know that.
Chocolate money. Yeah.
Favorite kind of money.
So that's your trivia for the day. Hopefully you learned something today. We like to or right. It could have been the Incas too. So three. All right, that's our show. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with myself, Chloe, Mike. Mike's doing a great job back there.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike, for all that you do. He's now down in Orlando. So he's and Olympia. We couldn't do it without Olympia Dukakis.
We could not do it without you.
The Olympia Dukakis is actually Mike's spirit animal. That's his. That's true form.
On the inside.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, kind of like in the new Wonder Woman movie, which we don't have really time to get into. It's like Chris Pine being, Chris Pine, but he's not. It's a very Scott Bakula Quantum Leap kind of thing. But yeah, so now mine is an owl, Roddy TV. Well, Olympia Dukakis, I believe, is very owl-like.
Historical hottie.
I mean, she is 100%.
Hello. Ooh,
They're practically the same person. While it's getting a little warm in here now, okay, that's enough.
It's too hot.
It's too
hot.
We got to stop now before things get awkward on camera.
Crazy.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. And until then, goodbye, world.
Goodbye, world.